Good afternoon. This is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and I'm here to talk about one of the most problematic cards in this format. I honestly do think, besides this card and Kashtira's entire board lock, this format's actually pretty healthy, all things considering. Like, all the decks are relatively powered. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a clear best deck in the format, and that is definitely Kashtira and Branded. That's no debate there. But I feel like the other seven best decks could, I guess it's eight if you count the top 10, could definitely take games, if not compete, with Brandon and Kashtira. I just feel like there's just two cards in this format that just make it unfair as hell. And this is definitely one of them. Konami, you gotta ban this card. Branded Expulsion is the stupidest card you could have gave Branded. Like, it's more broken than Brain Infusion, and Brain Infusion should be put to 1. This card is all kinds of stupid. Everything about this card just says, hey, I'm a win button. I'm going to win you the game. It's so ridiculous. If you don't know, Branded Explosion is the trap card given out in Dimension Force, and for a while, no one was playing this card. I thought the card was really, really cool. I thought it had some cool abilities, but then people realized, hey, you can just use it to make a win button, because you can special summon out monsters that are just floodgates to your opponent, thus locking them out of the game and winning the duel, which is really, really stupid. And basically, that's why Brandon's still in the meta. Don't get me wrong, all the Brandon support they keep getting is ridiculous. Cartesia support, all that new Synchro stuff they're getting next set. Everything about Brandon is ridiculous. Mirror Jade's a house of a card to deal with. And Brandon Red is also a house of a card to deal with. Because Chimera Tech, the Reflegias, all that. Everything about Brandon is stupid. But this card is just not fair. Because it doesn't matter how good you side against the Brandon player. If they can set up this lock against you, you just lose in the draw phase. The fact that you just go, okay, draw phase, activate Brandon Explosion, reborn a monster from either the banished or engrave, and then just special summon it into your opponent's field and just lock you out of the game is all kinds of stupid. Now, don't get me wrong, this card can be ghost spelled. This card has applicable applications. There's DD Crow, other cards like that. The Bestials hit this card. The things, because whenever you reborn, you have to reborn it from either player's field. So basically, the idea is that if you're like, for example, these are the 4 targets, by the way. These are the most popular targets. For first off, it was originally Ra's Disciple. The idea is that you special summon it onto your opponent's field, and then while it's on the field, your opponent is locked out of the extra deck, or just locked out of special summoning in general, which is really, really bullshit. But luckily, because it stays on field, and it's only a lingering effect on the card, if they can forbidden droplet it or negate its effect or destroy it itself with like Dark Hole, the Ra's Disciple is no longer affecting you. Thus, you can play around it. For example, one of the duels I was playing, when I was playing Branded Tier Elements that I got first place with, I dealt with a person playing Branded Explosion, and he gave me the Ra's Disciple twice. I actually beat it both times. The first time, I had Forbidden Droplet, and I sent his own Ra's Disciple to negate his his Mirror Jade, which was pretty insane. The second time it happened, I was also playing the one copy of Chalice, and I was able to draw Chalice and negate my own card, allowing me to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, which was pretty funny. And yeah, that was really, really important. If I didn't have those 2 cards, I auto-lost that duel. Now, people have gotten around that now. They're like, oh, well, shit, Ra's Disciple isn't good enough anymore. So, we play other cards. And all 3 of these other cards are really, really stupid. For example, DD Ouroboros, or Orpheros. I'm pretty sure he has the same wording as Ra's Disciple. If he's special summoned, you're just locked into DDDs this turn, which really, really fucking sucks. I don't know if is that like a lingering effect once he's special summoned, you're screwed, or is that effect where once he's summoned, as long as he's on the field, you're locked? I'm pretty sure he's a lingering effect, so he's really, really stupid. And not to mention, he's a pendulum that has the effect to pop a back row, so he's not even bad to draw, because you can, worst comes to worst, you can put him in your scales and then just pop a back row, which is pretty insane. The other 2 cards are really, really old cards that are also generically stupid. Gimmick Puppet, a nightmare, basically says, hey, the moment I am special summoned onto your opponent's field, it's a non-negotiable activation. You are locked out of the entire special summoning mechanic unless it's a Gimmick Puppet. Which, unless you're playing Gimmick Puppets, you just auto-lose. And not the worst. And the worst part is, this card is, like, ridiculously expensive. It's like $20, $18. And no one plays it besides this lock. It's the only reason this thing has play. Not even Gimmick Puppets play this card. That's how bad this card is. Because it's not even good in its archetype. It's only good for this lock. And same thing goes for this other guy, the Idol. Idol has the same thing. It just locks your opponent really, really hard. And I don't think any of these cards are the actual issue. I just think the trap card is the only unfair thing because it cheats these guys out. Without that trap card, none of these cards by themselves are broken. It's the same thing with, what's it called? All the tuners and, of course, Crystal and Halka Fibrax. The tuners themselves weren't the broken part. Well, they're strong, don't get me wrong, but they weren't the broken part. The broken part of all these cards is that you're going to special summon them onto your opponent's field and lock yourself out of the game. It's a win button on itself, which is all kinds of stupid. And I don't think you should be siding, or at least be forced to side, like, Graveyard Interruption, just because this lock exists. Especially when it's not the format for this card, for the Graveyard Interruption. Like, think about the best decks right now. Kashtira does not give a shit about the graveyard. Are you going to dedicate 3 or 6 slots to stopping the graveyard because this deck can lock you because it interacts in the grave? I don't know. That's really, really something you have to look into because this card auto wins the duel. Unless you're playing a deck like Flunderies or Monarch, you're just losing. And even Monarch needs a special summon. So, hey, that doesn't even win you there. So, yeah, this card needs to be banned. You need to ban this card. Don't mess with Ron Disciple. Don't ban the Gimmick Puppet. Just ban the common Expulsion that came out in Dimension Force. That set is already insane. You already made your money off it. I don't think you're getting any money off the trap card of all things. So, yes, just ban that card and we're all good. I think it's funny that Ra's Disciple is a target. I think it's funny that people are playing Ouroboros and giving Puppet a nightmare. But do I think it's fun or fair? Absolutely not. And this is not the only unfair thing in the format. I think Kashtira's infinite not negate the stop the entire board and just say you can't summon a monster. That's stupid too. We'll get to that in another video. But this is just unfair in all itself. And honestly, the only way to make this fair is just by banning this card. I think Branded by itself without this card is a fair matchup. There's so many ways to counter Branded. There's other floodgates like Dimensional Barrier, which I think should be banned too, but that's a whole other discussion. There's Super Poly, which is a hell of a card, and there's Dark Ruler, and there's Lightning Storm, and there's Evenly Matched. Now, there's ways they play around those cards, but they still break their boards, and they still don't auto-win the duel. So, there's my argument there. Hope you all enjoy. Don't do anything stupid, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.